Hello, today I'll be talking about how God is against sin, all the sins. I've proven this before, and I'll say this again about how God exists, how he responds back, how he's against sin, and yeah, so that's my introduction. And I got this secular section right here. It talks about opening up your heart and what guilty conscience is and how that's uncomfortable. You can get a guilty conscience of what is not based on morality. So it just talks about a few things, doing all four, and then that guilty conscience would be there about those four, but they're not based on morality. So if you get a guilty conscience from committing these four above, then you have to explain why you're getting the guilty conscience. So this is from my experience and from observing other people. If one blatantly continues immorality for a month, bad events not associated with your immorality will increase. This includes the four above. They're not based on morality. So this is especially true. And other people can attest to this. They can, say that this is actually true with enough people realizing that there's a correlation. And so, you can also think about the immorality in your mind after confessing all of your immorality and stopping that immorality. You will receive a guilty conscience of that immorality in your mind. And then it talks about, the uncomfortable sensation of the guilty conscience, what's not based upon morality. As you confess each one, then that guilty conscience will go away if one commits those immorality. So, yeah. Committing the four above not based on morality, yes. If one receives the guilty conscience of what is not based on morality, such as cussing on one's own, getting drunk, bowing down to other gods, or dealing with the occult, then this is the first statement, which I've talked about before. And if one continues in immorality for a month, bad events not associated with your immorality will increase. The intensity and quantity of bad events will increase, or the quantity of bad events will increase. This includes what is not based on morality. And so this is the second statement, which is true. So if the first statement and the second statement is true, based upon what people experience doing this, again, this is just a formal proof. Obviously, do not continue in sin. But if statement 1 and statement 2 are true, then this shows that someone or something is intervening, someone or something in your life is through very low probability of occurring, especially when this is happening over and over again. It should not be there. So the two logic, so the statement 1 and statement 2 of that logic should not be there. But it is there. And if enough people see this correlation and they see that statement 1 and statement 2 is true, then they can confirm that these two are factual. And another way is to blatantly continue in this immorality for a month. Again, of those four, that's not based on morality. Bad events not associated with your immorality will increase. And if they're associated, then you should just ignore it because it's not a valid data point. And write about all the bad events that happened during those first month in your journal. And the second month, do not continue in immorality. You'll see the correlation you'll see the difference between the first month and the second month. That if you continue in immorality, bad events not associated with your immoralities will increase. Thus, there is someone or something intervening to make this logic happen in your life. So that's especially true. And a guilty conscience, whatnot, based on morality, intensity, or quantity of the bad events, increase because of the immorality committed. Again, someone or something's intervening in your life of statement 1 and statement 2. And the guilty conscience, what is not based on morality, and the intensity or quantity of bad events increasing because of those immorality committed, is actually God. And therefore God is against sin. So that proves that God, exists. So this narrows God down to the one who is against sin. Either he is a generic God that's against sin, God of the Jews, God of the Quran, God of Jesus, or he is the I am, the one who sent Jesus Christ. To prove God's name, just make fun of God of the Quran. So again, you can make fun of the other gods while not continuing in sin. You can do that for 2 weeks, and nothing bad will happen in your life. So God is a generic God that is against sin, God of the Jews, or the I am, the one who sent Jesus Christ. The best way to prove a specific name is to let God speak through a prophet in first person. Talk to him or her about his/her sins. You can talk about people's questions that people ask within one's mind. So they ask a question within their mind, and then God, through the prophet, will answer that question. So if enough people do that, then we can verify that God is speaking through the prophet, and God will talk about his/her sins. If his/her sins are there enough, then he will go directly to talking about his/her sins and not actually answering their questions. So that's what God does, just from my experience. I've seen this before. God speaks through a prophet, and he talks about people's sins nonstop. So, and then if they don't stop continuing in sin, then he'll send more disasters in a country. He'll make people's lives worse. Frequency and intensity of the bad events will increase in their lives. And you can see this even without a prophet throughout history. If people blatantly continue in sin, frequencies and intensities of bad events will increase in their lives. And to prove God's specific name, actually the best way is to make fun of the Son of God, Jesus, for 2 weeks while not sinning. He's not a God. Jesus is a Son of God and a prophet. He's separate from the I am from Exodus 3:14. Jesus is below God the Father, I am, from Exodus 3:14. And especially if they make fun of the I am for 2 weeks while not sinning. This will result in their life getting worse. Bad events not associated with this sin will increase. And I say, don't do this. Obviously, don't do this, but some people will. So believe God is the I am, the monotheistic God of the Bible for a month, and your life will not get worse. Again, expected value is if people believe that God is the God of Jesus, which he is not. They say that because they want to continue in sin. And he's just not. I've already proven that he's not the God of Jesus. So, if you understand this logic, all these factual statements once proven. Therefore, this shows that a monotheistic God, I am, the one who sent Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who is against sin, can respond back. And based upon going from believing that God is the God of Jesus to believing in three gods in one, my life has improved significantly. And then going from believing in three gods in one to God is monotheistic, no image, from Exodus 3:14. He sent Jesus Christ. They're separate, not one and the same. Jesus is below God the Father, I am, who has no image. My life has improved significantly more. The quality of my work is higher. Even doing these videos, just what I'm presenting is the quality is much higher. God is monotheistic. He's the one that brought the Israelites out of slavery. And I've been proving that he's responding back through the rain. He's stopping the rain. And if it rains again, I will record that and then show that God is stopping the rain. Even if, AI advances even more, I can still show that it's from God and it's not artificial intelligence. So I will prove this. I will prove that God is responding back. I'll continue to do this. I'll continue to prove that God can respond back. So, and that's why, that's why I believe that God exists. This is a non-secular section also, but it's pretty much the same as the secular section. It's just the secular section is more formal. Try to keep this as factual as I can. And yes, people continue to be misled by their false pastors and the God-love pastors saying they can continue in sin, or they imply that they can continue in sin, but frequencies and intensities of bad events will increase in their lives if they do that. So don't do that. And I'll come out with more videos. I will continue to prove that God can respond back over and over again. And thank you. Come out with more videos, and thank you.